Hello and welcome to the Manifest to Live Life Golden Show. This is season 2, episode 12, how to go from anxiety to wisdom when creating something new. I have my own experiences going on over here, people, and I wanted to share today from that. This will be a little bit of a shorter show. If you really want more information from me, if you want to hear some more of me, go over to the Golden Hour. So you can connect with my new show on my live section on YouTube at my Manifest to Live Life Golden YouTube channel. Subscribe to that, like it, share it, and then you'll actually get the notifications when I go live with these amazing people that I'm interviewing. Oh my goodness. So good. But my episode yesterday was by myself and I talked about alchemy, and it was so incredibly good and deep and somewhat of new information. But, repetition is how we learn. All right. So I want to share today about the ideas that have recently just downloaded to me about what happens when we're learning something new. What happens to our brains, what happens to our bodies, what happens to the mechanism of who we are as an identity when we are approached with the idea of doing something different or something new, something that we've never done before. So my own realization came recently. I've been looking at doing new things. I've decided to put some things down that I've been carrying for a long time. And often when we are about to approach something new, we do need to let go of some of the old to make room for the new, to make energy for the new, to make space for the new. So this is something that I've been grappling with for a while. And a lot of times we actually have to let go of some income, some money that's created through that. So I've recently just let go of my coaching clients and decided to create a little space and put a little pause on those activities. As much as I love them and they feed my soul and I really do enjoy doing it, there are new things, there are new up levels that I'm looking to create. So stay tuned. I'm going to actually be doing some live seminars and workshops in different areas of the country. So I would love to invite you to come along with me on those and spend a few days with me in this energy field of creating and learning together. And no matter how long you've been listening to me for, being in live audience with me, being in live connection with me, and all of the information and downloads that are going to come from us co-creating together will be epic, I promise. So I'm working on that and I'm very excited about it. But I had a moment the other day. I was talking to a gentleman who's helping me, and it's really interesting what happens when you put something out there, how people do show up to support you. So initially, when you start thinking about this, and I've been thinking about doing this for a long time, I actually did a live seminar last year that basically told me what I didn't want to do with it. And I never got back to actually doing what I actually want to do with it. So because of my own indecision, because of my own fear, because of my own lack of knowing what to do, right? Being in that state of confusion, every time we're in that state of confusion or doubts or whatever, I don't know how to do it, we are blocking the flow of actually creating and figuring things out. So I recently decided I needed to get out of that. I needed to do this. And it came on the heels of knowing what I don't want. So I went to a workshop actually to learn about coaching and decided in the middle of that workshop that I do not want to be a coach, that I do not want to do high-end coaching. I have been in the trenches with coaching for about 12 years. So it's time for me to do something new. And it doesn't mean that I don't love coaching and I don't love my clients and I don't love what we have created together. It just means I feel like there's a new level that I need to come up. And I believe that my clients will come with me as well to this new level of information and knowledge. So in that, when I was in the feeling of, okay, I got to figure this out and I'm not really sure what to do, and I got really determined, a couple of people showed up for me that had information that are helping me to follow the energy field. So I got off the phone the other day and I was talking to this gentleman, and he's amazing and he knows how to do this, and he's done it with a lot of people. And he kind of gave me the don'ts, like don't do this, like minimize your risk in your first event. And he was giving me all this really good information. And I got off the phone with him and I popped into a coaching call with someone right after. And like a friend, I was just coaching with a friend, not a client. And I realized in the middle of that call, and I have said this recently a couple of times, even put a Facebook post up about it. The only thing that keeps us from our desires from manifesting is us. It's us. It's how we doubt. It's how we block. It's how we get confused. It's the energy that we're not allowing to flow because of our own resistance. So as I'm on this call and I realize this with this person, I went to go say, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed right now. So I connected with my feelings of overwhelmment and decided that I could change my story about the idea of being overwhelmed. So I changed that story to excitement, and I realized that there is a space. So there is a space between where I am now, where you are now, and where we want to go. And in between that space is all these variables that haven't happened yet that we don't really know yet. If go back like in time and think about something that you learned to do. And before you knew how to do it, there was a space. Like let's say you learned how, I don't know why this is coming up, but you learned how to crochet. My grandmother taught me how to crochet when I was little. I was probably 7 or 8 years old. She taught me how to crochet. And right before I learned how to crochet, and right before and then between, there was a time there where it was very confusing to me. I didn't understand it. It didn't make sense, right? That's the space between. The space between where you are now and everything you want to do that's new. There's a space. And in that space, we have a choice. We have a choice to be anxious. We have a choice to be overwhelmed. We have a choice to be in doubt. We have a choice to pull back our energy field and say, forget it, I'm not doing this. A lot of times that's what anxiety does. It talks us out of doing what we really want to do. So in that space, I realized I'm just in the space right now. And I got really excited about the idea of that because I'm really excited about the grid. I call it a grid. I don't know why. Grid just speaks to me. The grid fills in. The grid fills in as we follow the energy field towards our new desire, towards the wisdom, towards the intelligence, towards the orchestration of the universe. So I got really excited about that. And it was interesting what happened next. So I have this awareness, right? I have this realization. And so I let go of overwhelmment. It no longer means overwhelmment to me. I'm actually quite excited about it because this is what I've been dreaming about for a long time, to be out in front of a lot of people. This is what I've sat in my house and practiced for the last 2.5 years. So I got really excited and I kind of let it go for the day. I meditated, I got myself in a good state. And then all these ideas started to come. And this is what happens when the grid starts to fill in. New neural pathways are born, new neural pathways up here that have access to information that you've never had before. They start lighting up and they start connecting. And what do they connect to? Infinite intelligence, because now you have just said yes. You have just said yes to the universe. You have just said yes to support. You have just said yes to the energy field opening up to you. And now the energy, this wave right behind me, starts to move. It moves, it breaks down into physical matter. And before you know it, what you have before you is the picture of what you were before the space. That picture, that visualization, that energy that started to formulate in your desire has now begun to be born or gestate. Like a pregnancy, it starts to gestate. So you may not have physical evidence of it yet. I may not have a location booked yet. I may not have anybody signed up yet, but the gestation process has begun. Just because somebody doesn't have the physical baby yet doesn't mean they're not going to have a baby. The baby's on the way. There's a due date. So now the gestation has to take part, the growth, the information, the energy field, all of that stuff has now been activated and needs time to break down into physical matter. So anytime you're contemplating doing something new, a new career, a new hobby, a new anything that you are contemplating doing something new, this is usually what happens to your mind. And I want you to be really aware of what happens in your mind and what happens in your body so that you can actually head it off. So the first thing your mind starts to do is it kicks up reasons why you can't do what you think you want to do. So the mind, it's a mechanism to keep you safe, to keep you the same, to keep you small. So it's going to kick up all these reasons why you can't do what you want to do. Now, if you tune into those frequencies and you listen and you start, really gravitating towards, soon enough, as you focus on those reasons why you shouldn't do it, people will start to reflect that to you, and people will start to try to talk you out of it as well, because they're going to reflect those fears that you have going on inside. That's all they really are, is false evidence appearing real. Fear, they're not real. They're just, this is, okay, so this is the difference. Many of us may think like, oh, my mind is telling me why I shouldn't do it. So thank goodness it's going to save me from a lot of pain and heartache, right? That's what we think. We're like, no, my mind talked me out of it. It was a bad idea. The truth is, there's no bad idea, because when you start to say yes, you can't even fathom the energy and the support that's going to come in. Your mind cannot give you that information because that information has not been activated yet. Your mind cannot even contemplate or consider what happens when you start to activate energy. All right. So keep in mind, every time you go to do something new, every time you go to reach outside that comfort zone, that mind is going to kick up like crazy person, like a crazy squirrels on crack, we call it. I'm going to give you my little meditation teaching here on Live Life Golden. If you're just listening, it's livelifegolden.com/p/meditation. And there's a little teaching on my website that you can grab if you have never meditated before, because meditation is going to help you to get a handle on this squirrels on crack, like this monkey mind that consistently talks you out of the things you really want to do. What you can do to override your mind is to put it down, right? Or change the story. That's what I did with the overwhelmment. Is I decided, okay, that's a story. Okay, that's an old story actually, of being overwhelmed and not knowing what I'm doing. I have proved time and time and time again that anxiety and overwhelmment will not win in my life, that I will actually charge forward and override it and get past it and do crazy things like podcasts and YouTube channels and videos and things that are way out of my comfort zone. I will write books, even though that's out of my comfort zone. I'll put myself way out there and let people know who I am, even though my mind tries to tell me that that's not safe, right? All right. So once you override the mind, now you have to do something a little bit different, because you got to fill that gap, right? Like a vacuum opens up when we put those thoughts down. Now what are we going to think about? All right. We're either going to meditate, which I did yesterday, change the story. Oh, I'm not overwhelmed, I'm excited, right? Or you can start to feed yourself with new ideas, which is what happens organically when you let go of the doubts. A lot of times those neural pathways start to light up and give you new ideas. It's so freaking cool. It happened to me yesterday and it was amazing. I woke up yesterday morning with even more ideas. The person I'm working with texted me today, wants to set up another time to talk. So a lot of things are formulating and coming into play. I'm also getting signs from the universe. Signs like I was listening to something today and it said a word that I'm working with, which was like what my last show was about. The Golden Hour, which came out yesterday, was about alchemy. And today I was listening to something and it literally said the word alchemy, which is where I am going towards with my seminars are going to be about alchemy and becoming the alchemist. So I'm like, confirmation. I'm going to follow the energy of confirmation. All right. So if you follow the energy field, then, right? Like, let's say you're really excited about something, you don't know what's next, right? So I start to think to myself, okay, what's next? Because I had a thought and I started to go with that thought, and I talked to somebody about it. And then it felt like when I talked to that person, it felt like the energy didn't open up. It wasn't like a hell yes, like it didn't unfold. It actually started to make me wonder, okay, is that the right path? And then I got a text message from somebody after that that made me go, oh, maybe I'm supposed to go over here. So it may sound confusing, but the truth is, I'm dealing with location. So I'm like figuring out where I'm going to have it. So this person presented something to me like a location that a lot of people would be psyched to go to. So I'm like, okay. So following the energy field means I put my work in. So I put my research in. I'm putting my research in, and then I'm watching the energy field for what comes up. Now, if something happens in this location and a place pops up and it starts to flow, I know that's where I go. This is where we trip ourselves up, is when we try to figure things out before we have too much information. That's where a lot of anxiety comes from. That's where a lot of overwhelmment comes from, is when we try to figure things out before we have enough information. So you got to follow the energy field. You got to see what opens up. You got to actually take it one step at a time. And sometimes it's a baby step, but as long as you're moving forward, it's all good. So then I start to ask myself, like, what's next? What can I do next to activate more energy? That's such a good question. What can I do that feels good? What can I do that ramps up my excitement? What can I do to open the channel up fully? So today I thought, well, I can do a podcast on this because this is pretty freaking exciting, and I can share what my process is, and that gets me more excited, right? That puts me in passion. I can create a flyer, and I may not even use the flyer, but what the flyer does for me, anytime I've created a flyer, it opens up the pathway of possibility, and it tells the universe, like, I'm doing this. So I can do that. So I can create that. So if there's no steps to be taken, I can do stuff energetically where I sit down and I meditate and I visualize. And I've been visualizing like abandoned about this, like literally every chance I get. This is what I'm doing before I go to sleep at night. I'm literally seeing my feet like on a stage, and then I'm seeing people like a sea of people. So doing that energetically, I am there, right? Looking out of my eyes, looking down at my feet, looking out at the people. I'm not putting myself way out in the future, which I may have done before. Like that may be why this has been a journey, but I trust that. I really trust that where I am now, there was a readying process, right? Like the last couple of years have been that readying process of getting used to being on camera, getting used to being in front of people, even though I'm in my bedroom by myself. I know y'all are out there. So recognizing that it's a journey and your process is going to work. Now, I was talking to someone the other day and I said, oh, this was so good. If you have a desire on your heart, if you have something that you feel strongly about, that you have that feels purposeful and feels fulfilling and feels exciting, you absolutely have everything you need to manifest it. The only thing that gets in your way is you. And I know I've said it before, but I got to say it a million times so you start to get that, because yesterday I got it at a whole new level. I was like, holy cow, I'm the only one that's going to stop me from doing this. I'm the only one that's going to slow down the energy field with my doubts and my anxieties and my fears. And I don't want to do that anymore. And I don't want you to do that anymore because it's not necessary. Anxiety and excitement are the same energies. They really are. They're the same exact chemical hormone download in your body. That's what's happening in your body when you feel excited. That's what's happening in your body when you feel anxiety. It's a kick up of all these different resources within your body. The adrenaline, and sometimes it's cortisol if it's stressful, right? Serotonin, dopamine, all of those hormones that you get when you're excited and passionate about something are the same ones that you get with anxiety. Now, the dopamine and serotonin do not download if you're in fear. They don't. It's more adrenaline, it's more cortisol. So what do we want to experience more of depends on our choice. Hello. Our choice. Now, if you have a lot of momentum and you're a very anxious person and you believe that you've had anxiety your whole life, it's going to take a little bit to shift it. But as soon as you start to tune your frequency into the other direction of passion, fulfillment, excitement, you will get the better hormones that actually promote health, that promote happiness, that promote a feeling of excitement, that actually puts you in a much better place for manifesting than anxiety does. So, what are you focused on? Are you focused on the best case scenario happening? That's what I needed to do, is that it was all going to unfold. And then, oh yeah, and then I can do this, and then I can do that. And of course, people are going to come along with me because this is going to be a freaking blast. Are you kidding me? A live event. It's going to be so much fun. So much fun. I have so many things planned, that I don't even know about yet are coming to make this event be one of the most life-changing states of alchemy that people will ever experience. It's just going to be such a blast. So stay tuned for that and start saving up your money. Like I'm going to charge a nice price for this. I'm going to make it doable for everyone. But if you start saving your money now, it's going to be more possible. It's like, I love breaking down things into like weeks. So if we've got 4 months, what do I need to save every week to get to that 4 months? Makes it a no-brainer. And when you decide I'm going to save up $200 a week, the universe conspires with you. And then before you know it, the money is there and it makes it really easy to do. So, all right. So when we are in a state of excitement, a lot of things come into play, a lot of wisdom, a lot of universal support. A lot of orchestration happens because when we're in excitement about something, our faith is activated, our trust is activated, and we're in those higher states of consciousness where a lot of things can happen for us and things that we never, ever imagined before. All right, so trust and have faith in your journey. Take it one step at a time. Don't rush the process. When we rush the process, that's when we get overwhelmed. Overwhelmment is always because we haven't caught up with the energy field yet. So we got to take a step back. We got to allow a little space. We got to take a deep breath. We got to relax. We got to go into our heart and say, what's going on here? Connect with those feelings. Journal them out. Remind yourself. Listen to this show again. Remind yourself of your brilliance, of your wisdom, and the fact that you are connected to infinite intelligence that is always there for you. Always there for you. All right. So here's the process. You're about to start something new. You're contemplating something new. Your anxiety kicks in. Your mind tries to start talking you out of it. Do this instead. Contemplate something new. Take a deep breath. Ask your heart what's next. When you feel overwhelmed, make the choice to turn it towards excitement. Move forward. And if there is nothing you can do to move forward, get yourself in a state of receiving, which is meditation, allowing, bringing yourself into states of trust and faith by allowing. And then watching for cues, watching for the energy field to call you towards something. Always move forward in any way you can. Create a flyer, create a teaching, call on assistance or support. I've been doing that a lot. Actually, I call on some non-physical support. So there's 2 people that I call on that have passed on to the non-physical, and they know how to do this. And so I've been calling on their energy fields. We are all one energy. We are all connected, and there's no such thing as death. So I'm calling on those who have done this before. And it's worked for me before. I've actually done that through my writings as well. Connect with your higher calling by following the energy field and watching for those signs. Make sure that what you are looking to figure out has enough information revealed to you before you freak out that you don't know yet. And lastly, don't freak out. There's no reason to freak out. It's all working out for you. This is all happening for you. Whatever you are contemplating is for you. If there's a desire on your heart, you absolutely have the wherewithal to create it. I promise. And I'm excited for the next step for me and for you co-creating together in this amazing thing we called life. All right, guys, I know it was a short show today, but I wanted to just get that out to you because it was like, oh, it was something I really needed to share. If you have any more questions, you can contact me. Also, my email is livelifegolden@gmail.com. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel and you comment, let me know what your email is. I will send you a free self-love meditation. I'm doing that and just growing that YouTube channel. So if you're already a YouTube subscriber, just email me and I'll send it to you. All right. I love y'all. Peace out.